Ooh, welcome to this Doom Sunday. The World Doom League is back. Summer 2021 season week 3. I am Xenaero, and I am joined by the lovely, the charming, the always punctual KBlair. How are you?
I'm doing great, Zen. We're fixing to see a good one today. The Sexual Panthers versus the Techno Vikings. Both teams sitting at 1-1. So they're both looking to get over 0500 today.
Yeah, both teams pretty even on the board so far in the regular season. This is week 3 out of 5, so both teams are looking for a win to solidify their playoff run and also get that race to get a better seed in the playoffs. That's always on every team's mind. Now, when we're talking about the Sexual Panthers, what are we talking about, Blair?
All right, Sexual Panthers. So last week they won 2-0, a 2-rounder in a little under 16 minutes over Wasted Potential, led by Human Bones. That improved the record to 1-1. Devastation was running, and he had an outstanding 9 points off 23 touches. That's good enough for a 39% cap rate, which is really impressive considering the league average is sits at about 9.5-10%. Altstab was firmly at mid with 1 capture, and the Human Bones played defense with 40 flag defenses, the highest in the server. Now, the Sexual Panthers have a ton of experience in the league, and it really shows in their play. Human Bones seems to know exactly where he needs to be and how he needs to apply his pressure in order to make his teammates succeed. Obviously, Devastation won money at this game, so yeah, pretty good. And Altstab, former champion, former longtime captain, was able to be stolen as a third. Really good team that SXP could put out here. Now, matching up against the Techno Vikings, the Sexual Panthers will need to answer for caution. Another veteran who can play any position and be anywhere he needs to be at any time. However, the Sexual Panthers' chances greatly improve if Ghostkiller sits this game like he did last week. Expect Human Bones to perform his expert ability at reading the map and knowing when to push up his defense. He's really good at not letting people get behind him. Altstab or Toby may play in this one. Either one can create the same opportunities at mid, but being week 3, you kind of want to pick one or the other to build chemistry with. Going with a dual third doesn't really work in this league because in the playoffs, you need to be a well-oiled machine. Now, Devastation surely can't have another monster non-flag game, right? Right? If he does, expect the Sexual Panthers to eat this dub. Now, Xenaero, what can you tell me about the Techno Vikings?
Well, what I can tell you about the Techno Vikings is that with a 2-0 loss last week over Rip and Tear, the Vikings, led by Caution, team captain Caution, dropped to a 1-1 record, same as their opponents this week, Sexual Panthers. Last week, Caution led the team in captures, 2 points as an offensive player. Shane had 1 pickup capture as a defensive player, and in his World of Doom League debut, Vinny played a balanced mid with 16 touches and 15 flag defenses. Flag defenses in this league mean that you picked up a drop flag and you returned it back to your base. The Techno Vikings have the keys to win, but without Ghostkiller in the lineup, Vinny will need to step up to fill in his impact. That is, again, in the event that Ghostkiller does not show up to this game. Matching up against the Sexual Panthers, I mean, Caution and Human Bones, it'll be the matchup to watch in the Panthers base. We're expecting Caution to be an offensive player and Bones to be a defensive player in this scenario. Ghostkiller and Vinny will need to play, Ghostkiller or Vinny, rather, will need to play well to have a chance against the stacked Panthers team. Meanwhile, Shane will have to play well against the double team of Devastation and Altstab or Toby. We're making a lot of assumptions here on how the teams will lay out. Week 3 has a kind of a wild map where teams can switch up their positions at any point in time. But when we're talking about Red Shift, we're talking about this map right here.
Welcome to Map 1, Red Shift. Red Shift is a linear map with blue and green armors and multiple routes in and out of the base. The upper route provides a super shotgun and a vantage point over the enemy flag. The shorter path provides a drop-down directly into the flag room. You can throw the switch, grab the flag, and take a teleporter out through the short route. Head back through mid and into your base for a capture. Matches are played in a best-of-3 format, where the team that scores 5 flag captures, or the team with the most flag captures at the end of 10 minutes, is the winner.
All right, and we have a little bit of a footnote here. Blair, would you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, so there is another game that's going to happen scheduled at 5:15 Eastern Time. That will be Demos Patriots versus Onslaught. And we're going to just bounce into that when this game is over. And Ralphis is going to take over for my role for that game. He will be in that server getting all the juicy details and will tell you lovely people all about it.
That sounds absolutely lovely. Now, well, as we're waiting for players to filter into the broadcast server, we're going to touch on the betting odds in our little World Doom League Discord betting bot that we have. The betting odds in the Discord server are 45 to 55%, a very close ratio, but in a slight favorite for the Sexual Panthers. So players that are got their finger on the super shotgun and ear to the ground, they think that it's going to be a relatively even game. What do you think, Blair? You think we'll see the series go all the way?
Yeah, it's really going to depend if Ghostkiller shows up. I mean, or if they play him, I should say. He's going to be integral to the Techno Vikings victory if they, do play him. If they don't play him, it's really going to be an uphill battle for them. And if, either way, I think Sexual Panther's going to take it.
All right. I mean, myself, I don't really have a prediction for this game. It's going to be something crazy to witness for sure, though. Both teams very offensive and defensive capable, and we're approaching game time. Spectators and players are going to start filtering into the broadcast server. We'll do a couple laps.
A little bit more practice time.
Oh, they're finishing up their final practice rounds. And some teams like to take it all the way to the end of their practice round before they get into the server proper. Now, we have a guest waiting in the wings, League Commissioner Ralphis. Welcome to the broadcast, Ralph.
Xenaero, KBlair, thank you for having me. I am happy to be here on the ground in the stadium for the Demos Patriots versus Onslaught game, which will kick off a little bit after this one at 5:15. A couple injury reports to mention here. It seems like star player Poto for Demos Patriots may be out today with sickness. So look for that to be a big factor in that 5:15 game.
All right. Well, that's the word on the ground. We here at the World Doom League, we run a professional operation. We have agents in all stadiums at all times. We are never not aware of the situation.
It's going to be a challenge for Demos Patriots. That lineup looks like it would be Turska, I'm 1 HP, Xenaero, and Ion against Onslaught.
I mean, Poto's a pretty strong member of that team, so there are that causes a little bit of concern for the Demos Patriots.
Time you lose your first drafted player, to anything, it's not good. Not good for your team.
Well, if anything, I'm sure Team Captain Turska is more than capable of figuring out an alternative plan for them. But we're just waiting for the players to filter in the server. So hey, grab head on down to the lobby, get a beverage, get a snack, get ready for game time. It's, we're a couple minutes past, but that is not uncommon when we're talking about teams that are across the world, multiple time zones, multiple different lives happening, and, it is Sunday. Coffee is a snack, yes, that is... I would consider it. You add enough sugar, it definitely becomes a snack.
I need sugar with my coffee, always.
Meanwhile, later tonight, we have the fourth game today. We've already had one game today in a quadruple header Sunday. But tonight, Blair, can you tell us about the game happening?
Which game? The one 8 o'clock or the one at 5:15?
Oh, the one at 8 o'clock, yeah.
Oh, the one at 8 o'clock. Well, that would be my game. Me and Ralphis' game. We will be taking on the Dosu's Only Friends. Sorry, Dosu and Friends.
Yeah, that is not valid content. Okay, we cannot show that. Just not Twitch friendly. That's a completely different league with a completely different 3v3. I mean, what? Oh my god.
Unfortunately, got that confused with Ty's OnlyFans, who was a team last season.
And we have a question: are these maps similar to See Damon Capture the Flag? Well, that map pack does have some entries in the compilation pack the World Doom League does run on, and this map in particular did not end up in the ZDCTF map packs, but was created independently and has been integrated into the World Doom League map set.
Yes, these maps have stood the test of time to be added into this map set.
Team's warming up a tiny bit before everybody filters in. We have all three members of the Panthers in. It looks like Alt Stab will be starting instead of Toby for SSP, while we're waiting on the third player for TKV, who I don't see in the server. Oh, Vinny was in here. He disconnected, maybe to restart his demo.
Yeah, so Vinny in for Ghostkiller is going to really improve the chances for SXP. And I like Stab playing here. Lower ping, and he's like, he's honestly a first. So, he's really, like, this SXP team is stacked against this TKV team.
But definitely not to underestimate Caution, Shane, and Vinny. I'm assuming Vinny will be starting for TKV, because I don't see Ghostkiller in the spectator list here at all. Vinny has yet to join, so there's a little bit of anticipation
Suspense
in the air. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And multiple members of the game coming up in roughly 10 minutes from now are in the server spectating. So they're taking a little look before their game time begins in a different server.
Yeah, I guess they just came back from practice, having a little break, want to watch the game. People always show up for game time.
Well, those sounds you are hearing are unintended behavior, so you'll have to ignore those. If somebody's operating outside the bounds of the map, such things are not allowed in the World Doom League, and will be penalized harshly if they occur during a live game.
As we get more speedrunners, we get a lot more speedrunner exploits being done in the World Doom League. Obviously punishable by death.
Death and permanent disconnection. Although Ghostkiller is going to start for TKV, the uncertainty is now over. So one of the strongest players in the league is now starting, unlike last week for TKV. We'll be seeing the field this time.
things just got a lot harder for SXP. Ghostkiller, obviously, former champion. Really, 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 really good. His presence in mid is much needed for this Techno Vikings team.
And mid play here is pretty. You have to be pretty flexible as a support player in this type of map. You can't really hold it down per se because the game state changes so drastically. Either you have to support your defender or your runner, or well, in some cases you have to do both. But welcome everybody who is not a long-time multiplayer advocate. The World Doom League is built on the foundation of competitive spirit, based in public servers of yore, really. The International Doom League was the precursor to the World Doom League, and since then we are running on Odomex, the online Doom multiplayer experience. You can download the port on odomex.net and join the server yourself to get a live look at games. And if you're feeling up to it, you can also participate in the World Doom League the next time we hold a season. Get in there and start playing. We have a lot of rookies this time, and some of them are really shaping up to be excellent players. So it is not out of reach by any stretch of the imagination. We have a restart now being called. We'll be getting into round 1.
All right, here we go.
Starting off on alt stab for the Sexual Panthers. Moving across mid. Trying to make a play happen there. Blue armor is very important to control for a runner here. The reduction is 50%. So while that does reduce your damage, you also still do not want to get hit a whole bunch. Stab does grab the green armor, reduces the damage by 1/3. Out through the teleporter, takes a medkit, and kind of doubles back to grab yet another medkit, replenishing his health, going out to mid. Encountering Caution, who does return the flag. Meanwhile, Shane on the other side grabs it for just a second, and then it is returned.
Yeah, good play there by Caution. He played it perfectly. Went out to mid, and just contained, stabbed, and let him out of his sight. Good return.
And we're seeing Shane on the offense right now for TKV, who does manage to get out just barely to mid, but then dogpiled, and the flag is returned. No capture in the opening minute. Nothing crazy. Nothing that would catch us off guard here at the World Doom League studio. Some games do open up as a complete slugfest, and you see captures left, right, and center. There is offensive pressure from both teams. Ghostkiller with his own touch. Switching over to Bones, who is running. Kind of surprising to see that.
That is interesting. That means
Bones,
Dev is on defense.
It does appear that way, yes. Devastation playing a defensive role. Falling back into his base. Trying to keep track of every enemy player in the base. There are 2 now. Ghostkiller being escorted out to mid. He does have armor, but not a whole lot of health. It does get picked up by Caution, and it looks like it might get escorted the rest of the way. It does. A successful conversion of that multi-person capture run puts TKV 1-0 on the board for round 1. Bones gets it across mid, but it is returned by TKV.
Yeah, it was good to see Caution there, being decisive in mid and grabbing that flag, getting the capture.
And one thing you have to worry about in this league is all 3 enemy players in your base if you capture the flag, and that is you can see a rebound happen very quickly in that case, being completely overwhelmed by the entire enemy team on top of your own flag.
Yeah, with such a tight choke point in mid, it's easy to get really just hemmed into your own base.
Stab with a touch, got 90 health. Sees one defender. He does get the coverage he needs from the rest of his team there, and it looks like he'll be able to convert this. The score is now tied up 1-1 in the first round.
I love that move from Stab. Just cut through diagonally through the mid while everyone else is busy.
That's right, because the more time you spend in one area, that is the longer they have to line up another shot at the back of your Doom guy.
You love to see decisive runners know what they want to do and they do it.
Bones trying to push up through mid here. Yeah, he is taking a decisively offensive role. Uncommon for the captain of the Sexual Panthers, who tends to favor defense, but putting Dev on defense has been a pretty good decision so far. They're not losing. And Bones is able to take his aim out to mid to control the flow of enemy players, but also support his runner. Shane, 10 health and a dream, going to get quickly surrounded, and the flag will get returned.
Yeah, it's some good convergence by SXP there.
And some
Both
rapid
teams playing
switches.
pretty scared. So both teams playing pretty scared. The mid is really helping the defender for both teams.
Yeah, both teams playing pretty cautious. Lot of core defense. Very rarely do you see a full-out offensive from either team, which can mean that the runner doesn't get very far off the pedestal. As you see, we switch to one runner and they drop pretty quickly. Like that bright red screen fills the vision.
Would love to see Bones call a tempo change here, like an all-o. Switch it up.
We are reaching the halfway point, and no team has an advantage in the first round. It can be a good surprise move for a captain to call something like that, catch the other team off guard. But nothing yet. Pretty vanilla capture flag game right now. No big disparity in player skill. Looking over to the frags, it's 94 to 87. Not even a margin of 10 between the two teams. So in terms of power, not much of a difference. Ghostkiller with 100 armor and health. He's going to look to cover himself here. He's quickly running out of health, but it drops right on top of Cautioning's head. But it gets returned last second from Dev. What an excellent return from the defender of the Sexual Panthers.
What a crazy series of events. Hey, congrats on Dev for, cleaning that up, because that was not favoring him at all.
I mean, how often do you expect, as a member of a team, to have the flag dropped on your head? Here you go.
Special delivery. We see Bones standing in mid.
Yeah,
now going for a run.
Stab doing some work too in the obituaries in the top left corner. Getting a couple kills and then pushing his way to the flag. Moving over to Ghostkiller, who's an offensive player for the Techno Vikings. Does grab the flag while we're watching him, but then promptly dropped.
That's the second blue in a row that SXP has gotten. Looks like they've been dominating the blue armor game.
And Shane, I mean, we're rapidly switching to every flag carrier we can, but they tend to not live long. It turns out that life expectancy for a flag runner drops dramatically when you pick up the enemy flag. Bones, out to mid. Not much health, only 10 health, and not much support there. But even if you had the support, 10 health really does mean that you're dropping the flag very quickly.
Had the speed, but didn't have the support.
And Ghost, no way out of that base. Stab does take the upper teleporter over to the short route. He's got somebody peppering him with a super shotgun, but he can't waste too much time in the base. He's being chased. Needs to put on the moves, but can't get away. The flag is returned on his side of mid. Almost a conversion.
It's a nice job by Caution. Staying with Stab on that one. He was a little slippery.
Bones tries to get out through top, but gets one shot down. Ghostkiller with a touch. He's got that blue armor, but not a whole lot of health. And no one there to pick up the flag. Not a whole lot of chain pickups here in this game so far, Blair.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of good, solid mid play from both teams. I say that as Ghost gets out.
Ghost gets out with 5 health. Can't get picked up. It does by Shane, who then returns the flag, dropped near the pedestal, and then converts a score 2-1 with 2 minutes left in round 1. So pressure's on the Panthers now to at least tie it up. Stab with a touch. Got a little bit of green, a little bit of health. He does make it out, but it gets returned. Both flags get returned at the midway point. Even though I did see Ghostkiller with the blue armor right before we switched off him.
Yeah, TKV going in with the blues of their own, so Really starting to change the tempo of this whole matchup.
Ghostkiller gets dropped as soon as we switch to him. Caster's Curse, perhaps. Oh, Stab doesn't even make it to the teleporter. The flag is dropped inside that doorway, which is a good way to leave it, because it's hard to get to for an enemy runner. But if you get your flag over there, then you have to return it to score the capture, so it's a very calculated risk.
As a consolation prize, Stab's corpse ended up in the teleporter.
Yeah, slides right on through.
One minute left. I expect a huge push of pressure here for SXP.
Yeah, if there's any time to call clearing the benches, the time is now. But TKV pushing pretty hard into the Panthers base, forcing them to fall back if they want to retain their flag. But on the flip side, then they have no pressure offensively, and that can be a problem with... We're coming up on 30 seconds left in the first round.
Yeah, TKV not shying away from the pressure either.
And that was Dev with one of the last touches in the round so far, but does respawn in time to return his own flag. They need a touch right now if they're going to have time to convert it over. It takes about 9 seconds, give or take 1 or 2, to get it to the other side of the map, and there simply is not enough time in the first round for them to get out and around. And that will end the first round of TKV and SXP. So the Vikings are going to go into round 2 with momentum.
Yeah, SXP was close there. They need to use this minute to figure out what they need to change. The frags were even for most of the game, but it looks like TKV really turned it on at the last half of that map.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Ralphis coming live to you from the Onslaught versus Demos Patriots game. Just wanted to give you a quick score update here. 3 minutes into the first round, Onslaught is up 2-0 with Seneca delivering some very nice offense for Onslaught thus far.
Ooh, excellent. The other game is underway. If we end in 2 rounds, if TKV takes the second round, there's a high chance that we'll be able to catch maybe the tail end of the Onslaught game. But we'll be getting to that when we can. But right now we have round 2 in front of us. I don't know what's happening with the Panther side. There's 4 players on the field. Only 3 are allowed at any time, but I think Stab was spectating for Toby to come in. But as Stab was unable to participate in the game, that should be no problem. So there is a roster change for the Panthers coming in. And Shane with one of the first touches of the round. So the Panthers are looking to shake it up a little bit. What do you make of that roster change, Blair?
So the stats say that roster change is not good in terms of winning, but at this point you have to try something. So I mean, I dig Bones, being decisive and making a choice here.
Yeah, pretty big play from the Panthers. As you said, roster changes are pretty extreme in the way of shaking up your own team's synergy. Synergy is extremely important as players have gotten better in multiplayer Doom history. And, you can practice with all 4 players. Some teams do that and can work out. Sometimes all you need is a different player with a different style in there to secure it for your team. But it remains to be seen if Toby can convert flags at a higher rate. Shane is out at mid, but gets returned, and Toby also gets dropped, with Caution returning the blue flag.
And it looks like Toby is just a drop-in replacement for Alt Stab. He's just doing the running, as Stab did.
Yep,
so we'll see if he is more effective.
No position replacement, just a player replacement. So we'll see who gets benched.
2 minutes gone. I mean, it's still even. Both teams, like last game, first 5 minutes, very slow.
Yeah, not a whole ton to call out, unlike the game yesterday night. That game was absolute mayhem from start to finish. It's a very conventionally played capture flag match with teams taking a great amount of care in keeping the flag at home. So nothing too exciting yet, but we're on the lookout.
It's certainly the gentleman's game right now. One run, one mid, one D. That's it. Both teams.
One thing I'm noticing is that there's not as much pressure on TKV here to keep the flag at home. Caution is pushing up a lot. He got burned a little bit there, but Toby was very heavily wounded with the first blast there, just not enough to one-shot him. But Bones is now in the base, taking advantage of Caution being out of position. He has blue armor. Does he have the health? It gets dropped last second, but it gets ferried over by Dev. Great pickup capture from Dev to secure the flag 1-0. But then Caution just runs it back. He says, guess what? I'm just going to grab your flag and run. Just take it back to my base. My flag now.
Yeah, 100 HP. Didn't even get touched on that run.
Yeah.
Gotta watch out for rebounds like that.
The Panthers were so condensed into one spot that it was the Vikings were able to clear them out and just get a rebound. Simple as that. Shane, 50 health. He's across. Not a whole lot chasing him, but he won't be able to sustain himself in like an extended standoff. He got one, got two. Oh, well, let me correct myself. Shane surviving the first wave. And gets broadsided, leading to a score. So
Yeah,
great job from the Panthers on converting that one.
Some great running by Toby.
Gentlemen, just a game update from the Onslaught Demos Patriot game. The first round has concluded. Onslaught won 5-1. Dastin put up 65 frags. The Onslaught actually out-fragged Demos Patriots by 37 frags, so quite a gulf there. And we're going to see if Demos Patriots able to make any sort of adjustments here in the second round.
All right, thank you for the information coming live from a simultaneous game here in the World Doom League. So we do try to line them up so that we can try to cast as many as possible. But in the event that doesn't happen, we do have great people on staff who will keep us informed of the game's progress. And if, speaking of that game, if Demos Patriots can't get their act together in the second round, that game might actually be over before this one. We have 5 minutes left in this round, and the Panthers are up by a margin of 1, which means if this ends the way it does, looks like on the board, we'll be seeing a round 3. And another reminder that even if we get a tie result in rounds 1 or 2, it automatically forces a round 3. Simply how it works, because teams do get the shot to play for a tie rather than a loss in a best-of-3 series. Caution. Tries to get out, gets blasted immediately in the face, and it does get returned. But so far, Blair, it looks like the roster change of Toby coming in for the Sexual Panthers is a good move.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. He just seems to be using Devastation and Bones in mid like way better than Steps seem to have been doing. I mean, it could also be placebo and they're just playing better at mid, but he seems like even on the standoffs, you know, that's some good individual effort by him to secure a flag.
And we looked at the scoreboard there for just a brief second to take note of the frag discrepancy, of which there is none. They were dead even on power. So it's all about technique at this point forward. Caution with 100 armor and health, but I couldn't even get the statement out and he got dropped and the flag was returned. Toby tries to get across Bones with a pickup, but does get returned by Ghostkiller.
Fortunately wasn't there for Bones. Grabbed it with 100 HP and was quickly cut down.
Caution tries to get around the bend, but can't get out of the base. Shane, lots of offensive pressure from both teams. Toby on the other side of the map, trying to get out and across, but he's got low health. Is there someone there to pick it up? There is not. It does get returned at the mouth of his own home base.
Dev gets a frag on that run. I think we're looking at a 3-1. But TKV's still in with 3 minutes left.
Yeah, 3 minutes left. Anything can happen. Remember, it only takes 10 or so seconds to get from point A to point B on this map. So, anything can happen for sure. And speaking of, Caution clearing across, tying it up 2-2 in the second round. Shane tries to get it back out with the flag for a rebound, but it does not happen. Or I'm sorry, not a rebound, but rather like a back-to-back capture.
Yeah, it looked like SSP was not about to let that happen. They all three turned around and got him.
Yeah, at one point, you may consider as a defender to say, hey, you know, that flag is absolutely gone. I'm going to set up for anyone who comes back to the podium, trying to take advantage of us being out of the base. So that was a good job from the Panthers to deny that flag run. 2 minutes left. If you got any tricks left in your bag, it's time to open them up. Caution, picking up a... That was an excellent, like, multi-person chain. I don't even know who was involved with that. I think that may have been picked up 3 separate times.
Yeah, I think it was all members of the TKV. But touched that flag. So good assist.
Yeah,
And we have a game update from Onslaught versus the Demos Patriots. The game has concluded. Onslaught did win in 2 rounds, 5-1 and 5-1.
Holy moly, that is well, good work for Onslaught there, and I guess we'll be saying goodbye to Demos Patriots in a 2-round series. Meanwhile, we saw Shane, assisted from his teammates, get 4 flags now to 2 flags. It's looking pretty dire for the Sexual Panthers here in the final minute of round 2. They need to get 2 flag captures to force a 3rd round. But Shane is out with their flag, so... Oh, he does encounter somebody up on the short side there. Has limited health. And he might make it with 1 health on the board. Oh my god. You can't see a margin more razor thin than that. So well played from the Techno Vikings. And that is, the 2 simultaneous games. TKV and SSP ended in 2 rounds, while Onslaught and Demos Patriots, they also concluded in 2 rounds. So that is how fast, how brutal, how decisive these games can be with the right synergy, the right players in the right spots. So we'll be giving the Sexual Panthers a little slop there, and that'll be it for these 2 matches. But later on, in about 2 hours and 30 minutes, we'll be seeing the game from the Superchargers and Dosu and Friends. So that'll be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Before we get out of here, Blair, is there anything you would like to add?
Nothing other than go Superchargers.
Go Superchargers. Well, we'll be here live for that game. If you're watching on a live stream 2 hours and 30 minutes from now, if you're watching this on the YouTube, well, be sure to just click that next button and just watch that game right now. But for the time being, we're going to play you out with the outro, and we will see you next time.